What if the NBA players from the 1990s played in the modern era? This is a question that I'm sure most people would love to know because we have one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant teams of all time, the Bulls throughout the 90s. MJ, Pippen, Rodman. Imagine that team in the modern day. What would happen? Obviously, we're not going to do just the Bulls going against the modern day players. We do have the top 5 players from the 90s, more or less, going against the modern day players. What's going on, guys? Jay Zimmer here, bringing you part 4 of this part 5 series. These are going by quickly. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you have not checked out parts 1 through 3, part 1 in the 60s, I really go into depth. Basically what we were doing is 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s going against the modern day players, answering the question, could they keep up? Could they hang with modern day players? And I'm sure everyone would love to see 90s players in today's era. Is the modern NBA soft? What do you think? I think yes. But could the 90s players keep up with the size and unbelievable athleticism that does exist in the modern era? Who knows? Today we're trying to answer that question. With regards to the modern players, we do have Steph Curry at the 1, LeBron at the 2, KD at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Jokic at the 5. If you're wondering how I came to this starting 5, please check out the 60s video. I do go more into depth there. The only 2 positions that people probably question are LeBron and Jokic. I needed to pick 2. Jokic won MVP. It made sense this year. And LeBron can play literally every position, and I couldn't think of a shooting guard that would be better. To be completely honest, the modern era is just so weird in terms of a 7-footer can play every position that I figured this made the most sense. With regards to the 90s team, I'm going to jump into that real quick. LeBron with a nice little move. Was that on Jordan? I think so. So obviously we have the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Jordan. In the last video, he was on the 80s team, but I used 80s Jordan. In this video, we are using 90s Jordan, so a 99 overall Jordan. Will that be better? Will that be worse? I guess we will see. I assume better. He's got better statistics, better ratings, better badges, everything. There's no reason to explain Michael Jordan and why he's on this team. Next up, we do have John Stockton, who would probably be the man to talk about in the 90s if MJ did not exist. But MJ did exist. He only averaged 15 points, but 12 assists and 2.5 steals per game. In the decade, he was 4th in wins and made 8 All-Star appearances, 9 All-NBA teams. What more do you have to say about John Stockton? An absolute beast. Technically, for small forward, we should have Charles Barkley. I was debating about making him and putting him in. If you would like to see that, I'm happy to do that. Sadly, we do not have Charles Barkley in NBA 2K. I assume it's for rights or for some reason that Charles Barkley is just being a weirdo about, but he is not in the game. So instead of Charles Barkley, why not throw in Scottie Pippen? Am I right? Obviously, he was the co-villain on that Bulls team with MJ, and he was second up in the small forward category. If you're wondering where I got this team from, it is from NBA.com, all decades team. This is obviously the 90s decade, so that is where I, got that from. Next up, we have the power forward, and we have Karl Malone, the mailman. What a monster. 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, honestly, John Stockton, Karl Malone, MJ, Scottie Pippen, I can't believe Karl Malone and John Stockton didn't win more, and the Bulls were able to shut them down, but they were able to, so got to give it to them. I mean, put Stockton and the mailman in, or without MJ and Pippen in the 90s, and there's no way they don't have the same 6 rings that the Bulls did, or more, in my opinion at least. So he doesn't really need much more than explaining than that. And then we have, for the center, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. He won MVP in 94. He won back-to-back titles in 94 and 95. I don't think much more explaining needs to be done. He was an absolute monster, and he just had to be on this team. Like I said, if you want to see these All-NBA teams, maybe I'll throw a link in the description. We'll see if I remember to do that, but you can just look it up, NBA.com. What do you think about these lineups? Do you have any quarrels with them? Would you rather see other modern era players Obviously, I could have done a more traditional shooting guard, maybe a more traditional power forward. Um, what do you think with regards to the 90s teams? Other than Charles Barkley, like there's nothing I can do about that. But I guess I could have made him. But who would you have picked? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with this list? I guess it's not really me. Again, I have my own choices I probably would have made over some of the players in this list. But I didn't want to introduce any unnecessary bias. I figured NBA.com would be a decent choice. With that being said, it is 20-12. The 90s decade team are not really hanging in there right now. Michael Jordan has really been shit in the bed, so to speak. Unlike him, but if you've watched other 2K career sims or any simulations where they put MJ in and you actually watch him, I think I'm going to go in depth towards the end of this video to sort of see why MJ's sort of selling, I'm going to say. LeBron with a nice move to Curry. That could be the game right there. It is not the game. Wide open Curry. He's rarely going to miss that. But I had to cut out a lot of MJ's misses. Like I said, if you have watched other 2K YouTubers showing, and honestly, you can just watch the background. That's like 3 or 4 misses in a row. He takes some ridiculously contested shots, and maybe MJ in real life in the 90s would be able to make them, but I honestly don't think he would have taken a lot of these shots. Again, I'm going to explain sort of why he was doing. I'll explain now. It's the frequencies, or not the frequencies, the tendencies, the shot tendencies of MJ. As he's like MJ, 99 MJ would never be ice cold, even going against LeBron. It's just never going to happen. But the tendencies are just so messed up in this game that for that reason, I'm going to say obviously the 90s, Curry easily taking the game, way too much space over Michael Jordan. That being said, his defense wasn't exactly special this game. But yeah, the tendencies, 3 for 20, like you have to be joking me. I'm going to say the 90s team would be able to keep up without a doubt if we didn't have Jordan taking the most ridiculous shots. 7 for 23 for Curry, not the best shooting, but overall the rest of the team shot quite well. We're just going to jump in and let me show you these tendencies. Yeah, so 99 shot tendency, whatever, that's fine. But some of these shot mid-range tendency, again, that's fine. We want to look at the contested. So we'll scroll down to the contested, wherever that contested jumper mid-range tendency, 99. That basically means he's going to shoot the ball no matter what. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to go with they could keep up. What do you guys think if you made it to this point in the video? Do you think the 90s could keep up? 39% to 27%. Just awful. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Rate it if you want to. Subscribe if you want to see more of this. Hope you're having a great day. Catch you in the next one. Bye.